Good morning, everybody. It's Ian from the Sports Card Side Hustle. I wanted to cover Mike Trout today and whether he's a buy or not. I'm calling Mike Trout a buy for sure, but mid to long term. Near term, we can't tell what's going to happen. He's probably not going to be in the postseason again this year, and that's really been the big downside of his card market and his career, right? He hasn't had that solid team to make it into the playoffs, and that's hindered him as far as media attention in the postseason, having a chance to be playoff MVP or World Series MVP or any of that. But I want to take a look at his charts, how it compares to the overall market. So keep in mind, the card ladder index in the last year has looked similar to this, the overall chart, but it's much more drastic for Mike Trout, and he hasn't had any of the recent recovery or pop that a lot of baseball has. And it's easy to see why, right? So if you go back a year, you can find his PSA 10s were already 3,000 and over 3,000 for his Topps Update rookie. They hit 7,500 at the peak of the market, right? Sorry, let me get to that. So right around here, you can find one sale for $74.25 in early February. Most of the market, it seemed, peaked around the end of February to buy March 1st. So February, mid-February, March 1st. Mike Trout had PSA 10 sales of his rookie, $74.25. And then you can find them just recently, the kind of all-time low in this one-year chart is 2,700. There's no reason Mike Trout's rookie card should be lower today than it was a year ago. I know that pop counts are a concern, etc., but the PSA 10s, it's not a huge, massive pop count, 5,000. It's not 30, 40, 50,000. And this is one of the most sought-after baseball cards. People are not holding on to these cards and waiting to grade them. The majority that I think are out there have been in for grading. So, yes, he's injured. Yes, this is a downtrend for him. But let's put it in context. For the first time, he has an elite teammate, and he has Ohtani, who's very young, and the Angels are going to have Ohtani with Trout for a long time. So I would say he's got a little pop lately or some interest where it's back above 3,000 to 3,200. Look to PSA 10s under 3,000 and 2,500 to 3,000 dollar market. Consider Trout. If you take a look at what you should be paying for raw, they don't have raw in the card ladder, but I will show you his raw prices charted by market movers. So market movers, there's some recent sales of his raw hitting $900. I find that crazy. I think you still watch them, get them in that 500 to 600, maybe 650 range. And then if we take a look at why he should still be a buy, this will be the first season where he had a fluke calf strain and calf injury where he's not going to be in the top 5 of the MVP finish. So Mike Trout is in the GOAT conversation of a top 5 to 10 player all time, some of the greatest ever, where he's won the MVP 3 times already by the age of 30. He's always been in the top 5. The only time he was 5th was in the shortened COVID season, right? He's over 300 home runs, and now he's got an elite teammate, and he's got another decade to play where he's likely going to get another 300 to 400 home runs. Now, keep in mind, before his injury this year, there's a lot of talk and exaggeration that he's actually on a downturn. You know, people exaggerating what's happened this year. And, he's aging. He's going to start to have injury problems. He's struggling. Well, he had his career high for OPS this season in the first 35 games before his injury occurred. And then I wanted to point you over to the ratio tool in Market Movers, right? So for his rookie cards, average ratio from raw to PSA 9 is 1.87. I try to get between 2 to 2.5 of the raw grade and the grade that I think I can get. But this is pretty close. So a couple misleading things here. The Mike Trout Bowman Draft Chrome has the best ratio by far. If you look at the maximum ratio from a raw to a PSA 9, I think it's also the hardest, toughest grade, the way that one grades. But It also has a lower price point overall, so keep in mind that yes, you have a $380 difference from raw to graded, but if you're using PSA or one of the higher end gradings, that margin then is eaten up a lot by the grading. So over here, his Topps update is getting a 1.9 ratio between his average raw recently, and the PSA 9. Obviously, in the other chart, I showed you a PSA 10. I think the 9 should be higher. This 9, when he starts playing by next spring and the hype comes back for him, look for that to get back to 1,500 to 2,000. And right now, you can pick up raw in the 600s, already having a 1.9 ratio between the PSA 9 and raw. So, yeah, that's not the one of the highest ratios I've ever seen, or higher than normal, really. But it's a $550 difference. So if you were to even spend the 200s for express grading with PSA, and you get those raw in the 600s, you send it in, you've now paid in the 800s, and you're already at a $1,200 card. That's worth it to me, especially because of the upside that Mike Trout has in the long term. So that's our look at Mike Trout today. I'm calling him a mid to long term buy. I do think his PSA 10s will hit the $6,000 plus range again in the next 18 months. So, all right, thanks for listening today. Everybody have a good day. Talk to you soon.